YouTube as well. That's nice. Okay. Um, right. So, yeah, I'm Hindu. Though it's pretty obvious by what I was saying. Um, uh, okay, is that good? Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, I'm live on YouTube and I'm live on TikTok. So I'm on both places and really I'm gonna answer questions. So if you have any questions, you can write them in the chat and I will answer them on each platform. But really I just wanted to utilize this time to just talk about non-duality, just have a just really chill. Um talk about the more deeper aspects of the wisdom and yeah, just go into that really. um yeah, it's good. I think there should be diversity. I think it's very important to have diversity. My YouTube is on my it's in my profile, so if you go on my profile you should be able to see it. Hey, hurry on, Jim D 108, nice to see you, my brother. It's good to see some of you on here, and it's been quite some time. I know that yesterday I did a live and I talked. I think I was on. Um, I think I was looking at a video about Guru Purnima, so that was very good. To talk about that and to talk about the importance of having a teacher, and even kind of talk about the importance of having an expert and why we should believe in experts and follow experts, which is really important. Hey, hey, Tompa Shenrab. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. I'm doing good, thank you, bro. I'm doing really good. How are you? I hope you're doing good. Nice to see you here. So yeah, I've been mainly just been contemplating about non-duality in general. I've been thinking about how simple this knowledge is, yet it can get missed so easily because we don't have a solid foundation. We don't have a solid. Oh, thank you for the rose. That's very kind of you. We don't. We don't think about the foundation. We don't think about actually how we can um, enhance our understanding by actually having the right knowledge. By having the right knowledge, we can then remain stable in that wisdom instead of actually going instead of actually losing it or losing focus or attention, or we don't have silly expectations of the path which tend to happen when we think about it. um so yeah, so there's quite a few things I want to talk about today. That's why I mainly had it as a chill session. So a few things. I do have a few conversations with the bearded mystic ready, well, not ready. I'm starting to edit them, so there's going to be quite a few that will be coming out, maybe two this month, and then, but there's a load of recording. I'm recording this Saturday. Then next week, I think I have two, and then I'm even recording for one. I'm doing an interview next week. Um, so it's going to be interesting, and what better way of spending your time than just talking about non-duality and talking about what a great impact it has had upon your life and how it's enhanced your understanding of reality. And recently I've been reading a little bit of Ramana Maharishi, to be honest, and like on the side, and I've been looking at how important it is to really understand why we want to know ourselves and why it's important to have the right wisdom and to go and to approach people who have that wisdom and who can help us. So, um, yeah, I've been contemplating upon that a lot recently, and how don't get too stuck on one particular person or one particular teacher. It's really important that you explore. Yes, have one teacher that you can, follow solid, but don't be attached. I think when we get attached is when we think we have no other place to go or we cannot approach another teacher. And when that's the case, then we stifle our growth. We end up being stuck. And I don't think that's a good thing. Um, because I was reading something by Tom Das, and he was actually very critical of Swami Sarvapriyananda. And I didn't really agree with his points that Swami Sarvapriyananda is dismissing samadhi states. In fact, if he had listened to Swami Sarvapriyananda, he probably wouldn't have said that. But yeah, it's something that I've noticed that I like where there's genuine. I mean, Tom is a very genuine teacher. So when I saw him say that, I was quite shocked. And the thing is, he had written it down. So when it's in writing, it's even worse because it'll stay there forever. And and you can be open to misinterpretation when it comes to writing. So yeah. Um, but yeah, if you have any questions, write them down. If you have something, a comment you want to raise, or maybe you want to know more about what non-duality in Hinduism is, that'd be really great. Um, yeah, so my time has been basically spent on just thinking about this, thinking about the the deeper wisdom instead of just going for the easy answer that sometimes appears in the mind straight away. Is to discern whether that answer is really the answer you're looking for. Sometimes our mind likes to tell us that we've got an answer just so we don't introspect even more, so we don't look even further within to see if there is a much more uh, whether there's an answer that will stabilize us more in our spirituality. And that's what spirituality is all about, is stabilizing yourself in this awareness, stabilizing yourself as a formless presence, formless awareness that you are. That's all that this knowledge is meant to do. And this knowledge, not only meant to do, but you realize that is your true identity, uh, not an identity that you get attached to. um, I think what one thing I am going to be doing is I will be doing a reaction video, maybe a live reaction to a video that Swami Sarvapriyananda did with Wisdom Speaks. I think it was Wisdom Speaks, something like that. Not Wisdom Speaks. Ah, it was something. Is I think it's by the Yoga Ananda Society of some sort. I forgot the name of the video now, but it's actually a really good one, and I think I would like to just watch that video with you all, and we can absorb the wisdom that Swamiji talks about. I love Swamiji. Swamiji is amazing in terms of how, like his way of disseminating the teachings and making it more approachable is so amazing. Like I really love the way he just gives out a message that is worth contemplating upon. The other thing that I think is um the more I've realized, I've been a bit quiet on in terms of putting up videos on YouTube. I am aware that I'm not doing as much as I used to. Um, I am aware of that. So not YouTube, on TikTok and on what's that thing called? Instagram. I know I haven't, and I've been doing more YouTube lives and stuff like that. But I think it's the reason being, I wondered whether it was imposter syndrome, whether I felt like I should be sharing something, whether I want my content to be viewed by people. It was very like kind of my own ego speaking, really, more than anything. Um, and although I could still be sharing clips, for some reason I'm still not. I don't know why. I don't know what's causing me to not do that. I think it's more to do with the fact that I find that I don't know. I there's no reason other than I think of imposter syndrome being what's stifling or what's stopping me from sharing stuff on TikTok or on um, Instagram and stuff like that. I am tweeting now and then, so I'm probably more not incredibly active on Twitter, but a bit more active on Twitter, so which is quite good. Um, you know, um, so yeah, it's interesting to see what I'm doing more of nowadays. So yeah, other than that, really, it's just been me and my Kindle. Um, in fact, the other day I had a really good conversation with Gurupma, who's a TikToker, who's a Sikh. I had a really great conversation with him. Um, Akil Samivada, I had a great conversation with him. Um, I'm currently editing that on my conversations with the bearded mystic. So I'm doing that right now. Um, I think I want to say I also have, uh, I will be speaking to Matt. I think his name's Michael Damien. He has spoken out against the pseudo non-dualists. So I will be interviewing him. So I'm looking forward to that. Well, having a conversation with him this week. So it's going to be an interesting um, week for me where I'm doing more podcast work and just um, talking about this wisdom and when when you talk about this wisdom, the good thing is that you're constantly thinking about the truth. You're constantly remembering the truth. You're constantly offering your views about the truth, and it's really interesting. And you're always looking for a way to get there. So I had a unique experience also this week when I did one conversation with the bearded mystic with somebody, um, and it was a different one. I mean, in the beginning, I kind of felt like I wasn't vibing with the person. Like when we were talking, we were rather. It was rather. It was rather. It wasn't like we were flowing. I felt like there was some resistance, and there was a few things that irked me during the interview. Maybe it was my own fault because I didn't raise some of the objections I had or some of the clarifications that I wanted. By the way, thank you for the likes on YouTube. Really appreciate it. Um, so yeah, so I was kind of really kind off during most of the interview. And I think it's because when I find that someone has a bit of when I perceive something as arrogance, when it may not even be arrogance, it may just be my perception. I don't know. When I edit that conversation, I'll probably have a better insight. But when I was initially doing it, I was I was kind of feeling that the person was wanting to share their story and it wasn't about a conversation. Like he never asked me a question on the during the recording. He asked me questions before the recording, but so it's kind of it was different compared to the other conversations that I had, and it's pretty clear. So this one was through Podmatch as well. So Podmatch is something I'm using to speak to different people, and it's a bit strange because on there I do say it's a conversational style. It's not about you selling your product or I don't really care about your product or what you're doing. Um, because if you can have a conversation with me as a person, I think that will make you more appealing. And then people may look at you or they may want to approach you. Um, but it's interesting. I don't know whether it was just my perception that was bringing up a resistance. So later on, when we got towards the end and we started talking about Ramana Maharishi a bit more, and he talked about a teacher called Robert Wolf. Um, we vibed a bit more and we got along a bit more. I think it was then the conversation flowed and it was more interesting for me. But yeah, very interesting. We had a bit of a laugh and joke about Tony Parsons, which got me to uh, think about some of the videos that I've seen of Tony, and I've watched his latest video where he's having a conversation with, where he's having a bunch of he's having a meeting, and he's talking to a load of people, and it's yeah, you see him get frustrated, you see him get angry, you see him get like kind of a bit. It's a bit weird. I don't know whether he's just getting too old now, um and I do feel that he's a bit upset about the recent growth in the what I call pseudo non-duality, um, but I think in his neo-Advaitist circle, I think he's not happy with the growth that's happened. So it's very interesting to see where that's going to go, and yeah, I'm interested to see how long Tony Parsons will stay on and relevant, because I think his relevancy is weaning away and or sorry, waning away. It's going away slowly. So that's why I said that I will definitely be doing a reaction video to him. Now, I mentioned Jordan Peterson yesterday, and there's a reason why I plan to talk about Jordan Peterson, because one, I think he gave a weird rant on Twitter, on the YouTube, about Twitter and why he got banned, and right, or why he was asked to retract a tweet. And in my opinion, Twitter was right for him, for them to do that, because what what he was saying was extremely transphobic and completely deranged. Like it was ridiculous. So for me, I was like, and this is a guy that's claiming to be so in love with the Christian values and all this. Um, it was it's just incredibly strange, and I've never really found him appealing. I've never felt like I want to look at what Jordan Peterson's saying, or never read a book of his. Never. The only time I've ever come across him is when he was looked at on the Decoding the Gurus podcast. That was the only time I really listened to him. Even the bit where he was uh, interviewed by Russell Brand, even then I wasn't interested in him. I didn't even bother watching it. So um just yeah, all I find is that there's something that Jordan Peterson is going through some horrible stuff in his head, and he's mentally not there. I don't think he's psychologically well, and he needs to be he needs to look after himself. He needs to look after his own mental health. And I think being on Twitter may not be a good thing. And also, he does need to look at the things that he's saying and measure it up to whether it's showing an integrated spiritual wisdom or not. So I think so yeah, it's really weird. JP seems to pimp himself as this very logical, rational dude, but his behavior betrays a lack of that. Yeah, I mean, so this Twitter video that he did, he was completely going crazy on that, and he was going mad. And I, you know, it looked like, and I saw some of the comments. It reminded me so much of Ben Shapiro, and I wonder whether Ben Shapiro wrote that monologue he gave, because it was completely weird. So it's it's really really crazy. So I've got another comment on TikTok. Man, straight up trash. Don't get his appeal. Um, Gotta be the cis white appeal. Yeah, I think it is. I mean, he's obviously appealing to a particular um genre of people, a particular group of people, mainly young men. Apparently, I don't know why it's men that he's appealing to and why it has to be men that he has to appeal to. It's really weird that he does that. And the fact that he kept calling Elliot Page Ellen was completely annoying. And it's like, come on, this person now refers to themselves as a he and sees them and calls themselves Elliot. Get over it. It's not a big deal, man. Like, come on. Um, you don't have to you don't have to be so angry about it. It's chill, you know. Um, so yeah, so it's interesting. And then I watched a video by I think it's Rebel Wisdom, David Fuller, and Ken Wilber. I didn't know Ken Wilber has got himself a wig now. Um, I didn't. That was really weird, jarring to see because I've always known Ken Wilber to be the bald man, and but anyway, it was really interesting to listen to Ken talk about the culture wars because I've mentioned here on TikTok and YouTube. I've seen lots of people on the spiritual um, kind of on the spiritual bandwagon go towards conspiracy theories and all sorts. And whether that's right or wrong is not my thing to deal with. But what for the likes of people like Jordan Peterson, what it is that they are they would like to see themselves as liberals, but they weren't able to integrate to a higher level when the time came to it. So they got dragged into conspiracy thinking and all this. And for me, that was my biggest sign to see how far someone has got in their spirituality or their so-called thought process. If they got themselves into conspiracy theories about COVID and the vaccines and all this type of thing, then I realized that these people um they they don't see reality as it is. They like to believe they see reality as it is. They like to believe that they are speaking from for people's freedom or for people's truth, but they're not. They're very very limited in their approach. Um, so yeah, it's really really crazy. Let's look at some of the comments. Have I listened to Ram Dass' most famous lecture of 1967 or read his book? I have read his book. I think it's called Be Here Now. I have read that. Very good book. And in terms of, I've not listened to his most famous lecture of 1967. If I have, it's probably a long time ago. So a very long time ago. Video watcher mob had to jump here. Hello. And the Lost Boys. I think that's in reference to what's his name? That geezer's name, Jordan Peterson. Jim Arthur, the Ken's always been in his head. His writing was so difficult to penetrate. Or maybe I'm not that smart. No, I'm with you on Ken. I've not read any of his books. He's more appealing when he's talking. Um, I find he's a bit more I can take in what he says a bit more. But yeah, I do like his idea of integrated spirituality. I think that's um, a very good way of thinking because your behavior needs to match the spiritual ideals that you talk about. If they don't, there's a problem. So I think he's right in what he's talking about, but I think it's already being addressed by the Association of Spiritual Integrity. I think there's already that going in where if you're talking about spirituality, there's a certain amount of ethics um, and moral behavior that you should naturally have. The fact that if you're talking about spirituality, but you're so, you know, what's it called, divisive and you're so I hate to say it, but like it's the alt right. If you're so alt right, it's crazy. And you know what Ken was saying was making sense to me because also in that interview was because I could just relate to seeing how Russell Brand went down the bandwagon, went down the hill of conspiracy thinking, and how people like to call themselves liberal, but actually they don't really know what it's like to have liberal values. They don't really know what that entails, or it serves them a purpose until they can find that if they be a grifter, they can get more money and more recognition. Nothing bad in that. That's their choice to do. But at the end of the day, you got to be ready to be called out for it. And um, I mean, what's sad for me is I used to follow Russell Brand regularly. I used to follow what he said, what he did, loved his book. I've met him a few times. I mean, and he was such a wonderful, charismatic man. Um, but recently, I've not liked the road that he's taken, and I feel it's disingenuous. I think it's wrong. Uh, Saying that you're asking questions, but then you're not wanting to listen to answers. The fact that you've been interviewing more people on the right indicates to me what you really like. Like for example, a lot of people get angry about Joe Rogan. The one thing I will bring to the defense of Rogan is at least he's spoken to people like Bernie Sanders or Cornel West. At least you can see that, like, or Sanjay Gupta. Like, at least I can see that. But with Russell, you're not seeing that. And yeah, he may have spoken to Muji or to Eckhart Tolle, but is that good enough? At the end of the day, and I think these people should feel responsible for what they're doing, by the way. I, I would like to say it's borderline criminal what they're doing, especially in terms of a moral standpoint, that what you're doing is getting people to believe anything on the internet. That means that whatever they see on Facebook now, they're going to just believe it. You know, Thankfully, I think Facebook has changed. I saw the app today, it's a bit different, but will it change? No, I don't think so. These people who have gone to the alt right, they're going to create new ways to bring out their message anyway. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame to see Brand go down that's that kind of molehill, so to speak. Jordan Peterson's Tomper, Jordan Peterson's not being able to handle Elliot Page becoming a man says a lot about his own individual integrity. He has on, yeah, exactly. That's my issue. Is that he can't talk about like being open minded, being an understanding intellectual, someone who sees reality as it is, yet cannot understand why someone will want to change their gender. Like, not even understanding it, just accept it. It is. You can't do anything about it, and it's the person's choice. He see these people. What's so funny about them is that when it came to COVID restrictions, they cared about people's choices then. Yet if someone chooses to change their gender, they have a problem. If someone chooses to choose their pronouns, they have a problem, which is really interesting that they have a problem with that type of thing, but like they go crazy if their choices are apparently restricted because of government restrictions, and that because of public health stuff. So it's crazy how these people think, and yeah, and yet they call themselves spiritual or religious and all this stuff. Isn't that crazy? Um, I don't hate Brand. I still love him because I see there is still something good in him. But you know, it's regardless, he's down a path which I don't recognize anymore. Um, so yeah, I would say with I don't know about if that racism issues are with Jordan Peterson more, um, but I don't think Brand is racist. I think see with Brand, I don't think he has any of the. He's not. transphobic. He's not any of those things, but which makes him still a lot better than the usual lot, but doesn't make him any better regardless because he's bringing people down. Yeah. Um, so yeah, with JP, again, straight up racist. I don't know if he's straight up racist, but he's definitely straight up transphobic. I've not heard anything racist yet, but he. So the other thing that's annoyed me is I've watched his video on explaining Kali, and the for a man that claims he likes myth and he likes and he talks about religious metaphors, for someone to not have studied Hinduism and claim those things, for me is like a misnomer. Like, doesn't make any sense to me. If you claim that you like stories and you love the 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 metaphors and the imagery, definitely should read the Puranas. You should definitely look at the Mahabharata, Ramayana. They're full of incredible uh, stories that highlight not only the human condition, but also they give you a path to take as a human being. They give you scenarios on why situations you will never be considered, great or completely evil, because you are known for the choices you make, and sometimes the choices you make is because of the circumstances you're in. You have no other choice. Now, the problem with the biblical type of stories and or I would not say biblical, but more of the Abrahamic, is that it's very much black and white. There's no nuance, so to speak. There could be nuance, but it's not really talked about as much. The nuance isn't explored, and it may be because there's bad translations or whatever. Um, we give them the benefit of doubt, but within Hinduism, if you look at the Puranas or you look at the Mahabharata or Ramayana, incredible amount of um, wisdom you can get from just looking at the way each character is developed, how each character makes a decision, how even the greatest person has the greatest flaws. Like, it's so incredible because it shows you that human beings are incredibly complex. It's not simple as just saying that you must do what God says and you will get what you want. It's a lot more complicated, a lot more complex than that, which I think is really cool. Um, so yeah, yes, trust your gut. I do believe that one should trust their gut. It's important to do so, um, especially when you're looking at or watching anything or reading anything. in- Even watching me, you must trust your gut. If I'm not appealing to you, just don't listen to me. If you think I'm wrong, say it. Like, the thing is, we've got to put ourselves under a mirror as well. That whether we have any um kind of limitations, or if we are not addressing our own flaws, so it's very important that we do that. I'm going to have a sip of water. Thank you for the likes on TikTok. I've seen that thing. Oh, and thank you for the likes on um YouTube. But yeah. So that was the reason for me not liking. Thank you for the rose. That was for me. Oh, thank you for all the gifts that you've given, like a baseball and thunder hammer. Okay, thank you. Um, thank you, Mark. Um, so yeah, but yeah, let me know if you have any other questions or if you would like to know my thoughts on something. I'll try and give my answer. I can't claim to have all the answers. Um, I, I don't have all the answers, but it'd be interesting to know what questions you may have about non-duality. Maybe you want to tell me my thoughts about God. I've been asked this on TikTok. What are my thoughts about God? Oh, see, to have a thought about God is to limit what we would term as God. When I think about God, I think of it beyond any form, any image, beyond any word, beyond any name. Um, I don't think there is a simulation, so to speak. Um, and there is no God that is planning all this, that is planning, uh, that is the architect of all this. I think God is just an awareness that, or his consciousness. It is as simple as that, really. Um, so yeah. Um, the question is whether God can be known. Can we know God? Can we discover God? And that's if we have a meditative practice, if we approach someone who knows the answer, if we read the scriptures, we may come across the answer. So, knowing God definitely is possible. Seeing God is definitely possible. For if you see yourself, you are seeing God. And if you see yourself in everything, you are seeing God in everything. For only God is in existence, if we are to say that. So, man, never drink something and let it go down the wrong pipe. It really affects you. Um, so Mark also asks that how much would you work to have heaven for the rest of your life, natural death? Um, I don't think there is a heaven. The heaven is all here in the mind. And if I am in peace, I'm in heaven. If I'm in suffering, I'm in hell. Um, so, yeah, for me, it's all about a constant work, in fact, to keep yourself at peace. In fact, your nature is peace. We mess around with our nature, hence, there is chaos and there is um, suffering, you know. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, oh, yeah, I got a nice chair now. Yeah, let's see, I've got a Mohammed Saif Ahmed. What are your views on Islam taking over India as secret PFI documents are leaked? Well, I don't know what PFI is, and it's impossible for um, Islam to take over India, if I'm honest, because 75% of the country is Hindu. So it's very wishful thinking. Um, and I don't think Hindus should be threatened by Islam either. Um, and neither should Islam be threatened by Hinduism. If either are threatened by each other, either do not know the beauty of their own religions. So, and by the way, um, only someone with a crooked mind would think of something taking over a particular country. For example, I would never think of Buddhism taking over America or Hinduism taking over America. That's a very silly way of seeing things. If religion is about um, if religion is about getting territory, then is that religion even worth following? Because then it's only about getting territory rather than actually a discovery of one's true self. It is knowing one's true self that is more important. Did I see that study that was released this week regarding Hinduphobia? No. I I think I saw something about it, but I've not seen any study about it, to be honest. Um, but I'd be interested to know about it. Um, um, Running multiple streams. Yeah, I'm running multiple streams on YouTube and on TikTok. Um, do I want to write a book, Brother Imam? Who's Brother Imam? Um, can't be me because I'm not an Imam. And my YouTube is the Bearded Mystic Podcast on YouTube. You can just search it up, or it's in my profile on TikTok. Um, in terms of writing a book, sorry, I was meant to write a book, but I haven't got around to doing it. So I have been thinking more about writing a book. Um, maybe I will. Maybe I will. I have written books before. I've written poetry before. Um, so yeah, maybe I need to consider writing, bringing out some writing. Come to Bucharest. Um, yeah, I mean, I'll have to ask my wife first if you want to go to Bucharest. We are planning a trip. Um, so somewhere. So I don't know where. But yeah, what is this study that was released this week, Jematadi? I really need to know. Um, I mean, the whole thing about Nupur Sharma, Apostle Aladdin has done an interesting take on it. That was really good. So yeah, I think it's. Um, I will never leave my wife at home. That made me a bad husband. And if I'm a bad husband, what type of spiritual person can I be? You know? Are you booking my ticket, Mark? If you're booking it, then I'm definitely going first class. Um, you don't have to. I mean, if you want to support me, just support me on Patreon. Um, so yeah. Okay, awesome. Yeah, send me the link. I'll have to read the study. But there is definitely Hindu phobia. I think the more the more I think about it, the more I see, and it's not just with Hindus. I think now it's also with Sikhs as well. I think there is a genuine thing about dharmic religions just getting kind of kind of like, for example, on uh, TikTok and stuff, getting shadow banned and stuff. I mean, it's I hardly see the stuff from anyone that's giving messages from a dharmic religion. I used to see Ven Trio, or whatever his name is. I forgot his name, but he was a Buddhist monk. I hardly see his stuff anymore. And I know he posts because I have to go on his page, but like it's really weird. But saying that, um I haven't been on uh TikTok much. Um we'll put you into our RTAI engagement system. Okay. Um so yeah, I have noticed that there's been a a real difference. Thank you for all the gifts that you're giving, Mark. Um, so yeah, it's uh, yeah, I've noticed that there's been issues. Like, for example, my friend, my lord, yes, sir, Ramiz. Whenever he posts stuff, I'm not seeing it as often anymore, and he posts apparently every day, well, mostly every day. So it's interesting how we are getting banned, or we're just not being yes, Marcus for the K. Yes, it's interesting to see, interesting to discover as well. Um, and the interesting thing is, I always see more stuff about Islam or Christianity on TikTok. I see that getting more views, see more of their lives. It's really interesting. Um, do I recommend you? I don't even know you, Marcus. Um, I have to know what you do. You know, you just told me that you do this AI thing, but I don't know. I can't say. It'd be wrong for me to say. Um, so yeah, um, but yeah, it isn't the last you've heard from me about Jordan Peterson. But I think I've handled that topic. I don't think I will talk about him or watch a video of his. It's too much torture for my mind to think about him or talk about him. Um, it's yeah, for me, I like to. So yesterday, I liked doing the video that I did about Jason Gregory and about Guru Purnima. Although I got a copyright claim on that, which was really weird. And it wasn't from Jason. It was from I think the music that he uses. Um, so I've done a dispute claim because it's a reaction video. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of disinformation being spread on social media about Hinduism. It is organized. I wouldn't be surprised if Dharma videos are just being mass reported. Yeah, mass reported, or we're just not being we're just not getting pushed in the algorithm. Um, it's one of the two. Although, yeah, I mean, I don't know because if you think about it, the pseudo non-dualists seem to be getting no problem in getting followers or getting views and stuff. While the likes of people like me, we struggle to even get anything. Um, but in a way, it's much better because at least I know my community and I know I can help my community. Whilst with the pseudo non-dualist, they they're like blind leading the blind, like headless chickens. But yeah, I'm gonna read the report for sure. Thank you for. I think you've sent it to me on WhatsApp, so I'll definitely have a look at that. For sure. Some bedtime reading, which is what I like. You gotta keep reading, and the more you read, the more you become aware of what's going on. Um, but yeah. So yeah. What else has been on my I will probably do the reaction video to Swami Sarvapriyananda's little interview that I saw part of. We'll probably look at the whole when we do the reaction to that, that's probably gonna be a good couple of hours. So be ready for 2 or 3 hours of just watching that. Um, because I think it's for an hour. So if that's for an hour, consider we'll stop here and there. Um, read up, scroll up too. It's hard for me to scroll up from here because the phone is really away. So um, let me have a look. Okay, you said help or exits. I don't know what you mean by that. Um, so yeah, um, so I'll probably do that. Um, and then definitely want to do that Tony Parsons video just for the jokes. Um, it's just good entertainment, trust me. So we'll get round to that probably next week. This week will I be live? Oh, maybe live Saturday afternoon, like noontime after my meditation class. I may stay online for a bit. Let's see, or I may have to clean my storage room in the house. It's a bit messy, or it just needs organizing. Um, so yeah, I might have to do that. Um, but let's see. Um, how many people on YouTube? On 5 people on YouTube, and there's 3 people on TikTok. This is what I mean. Like, I only have 3 people on TikTok, and I know for a fact I see people with 100 and stuff. It's so weird. Um, Marcus, you got here. Um, but yeah, it's not really about the numbers. If it was about the numbers, I wouldn't be enjoying the stuff that I do. You see, when it becomes about numbers, then you're worried about that, and you only think about that. But and also I also feel a bit disingenuous when you think about numbers. Numbers are good because it helps. Like, for example, getting more subscribers on YouTube is helpful because it means that I get closer to monetization and all this, and it's good. But um, but for me, I think the smaller the community, the better. The more interesting it is. Our real time authentic intelligence is better than humans in some cases. We're not lazy or slow. Okay. I mean, I don't know, man. Marcus, I don't know. I don't know what that has got to do with non duality or Hinduism. Hmm. So, where was I? So yeah, so yeah, the Tony Parsons for entertainment, Swami Sarvabhayananda to learn from because we love Swami Sarvabhayananda. And then what else is there? Um, I'm reading TikTok too. I'm reading everything. Interested in the sponsorship. I don't really. What do you mean by sponsorship? I ain't paying anything. You know, I ain't putting myself in a verbal contract. You pay me. That's pretty good. Well, I'll have to look into the small print. Um, but yeah. Be a Swamiji, and then yeah, if there's other channels I've been looking at. Someone mentioned to me quite a few actually, and I have them ready to be. So what I mean is that I am going to be looking at other channels as well, because when you recommend something to me, I do look at it. So oh, I may actually do a reaction video. I've now just seen that JP Sears has done a reaction video to Jordan Peterson. So maybe I'll have a look at that and see if it's worth it. But maybe I may do one reaction video. Let's see if I really want to get into the culture war aspect. But sometimes it's important to do so. Especially having an idiot like JP Sears give his amazing take on it. So let me see. There was some. Uh, So Conscious Circle was one to look at. Someone recommended that to me. I've seen a few, and it's about Ramana Maharishi, so I'm definitely going to look at that. Um, there's a few good videos from Dharma Speaks as well, or Dharma Speaks, and I will look at that. There's Deep Knowledge, although that's majority in Hindi, but um, I might still talk about that um, because it's pretty good. Um, um, there was another one. Someone said with UG, but I can't find the UG one anymore. Hmm. Oh yeah, there's another one, Simply Always Awake. Someone recommended that, so I'll definitely look into that one as well. Um, yeah, I can't remember where the UG one has gone, but yeah. Hmm. I thought I knew. Um, Next vid, he does reaction videos. I think I've seen him before, and he's done more. Okay, I'll subscribe to that one. Nice. So yeah, we'll we'll have a look at him too. I think inevitably I'll be doing more reaction videos of Sadhguru too. Um, so dining room. What do you mean by amateurs? Um, so yeah, next vid. I'll have a look at that too. Um, uh, I can't remember where the UG one was. Yeah, I just seen there's one for Mananda. It's an anagram. Was curious. His name is Marcus Steak. Oh, it's an anagram. Was curious if that's what he meant. Oh, okay. You probably know what it means more than I do. Is it my UG? Oh, I can't remember now. Someone from YouTube suggested it to me. That was it. Beyond UG. That was it. And I think I'm definitely going to look at Beyond UG because people like him are interesting in terms of the way they explain things, and they have an interesting take on things. So I think I'm definitely going to look at him. Yeah. So yeah, there's quite a few Project Shivorham. Thank you for giving me Project Shivorham as a documentary channel. Hmm. I'll have a look at that too. I like interesting stuff like that. So yeah, it's quite a few that we can watch, that we can discover. Um, even so, uh, Nanda, he's done some really good. He's done a really good video on Advaita Vedanta. Tadatmananda. Um, so yeah, it's definitely worth seeing and observing. So yeah, and then with Tony Parsons, the video, the one that I'm gonna be reacting to is so it's really cringe when I see you see this is the thing, like they're real cringe, these neo Advaitins. They're proper cringe. So his video that I'm going to be looking at is called "This Is Simple and Natural," and the reason why I'm interested in that video is because someone from there I knew from she attended a webinar with Rupert and she asked a question there as well. To see her fall under the trap of Tony is really telling for me. So it's like a lot of people aren't genuine. They keep hopping on to different gurus wanting answers to their questions which don't need an answer. They, if they stayed with their question a bit more, they'll see the ridiculousness of their questions because it means nothing. But so the video before that of Tony Parsons, which is really funny, is titled "The Perfect Lover," and the fact that Tony can't even can't even understand what's going on Zoom and calls himself the perfect lover is a bit weird. I just find it real cringe. Um, it's really interesting. They say there's a parent happening, yet they call themselves a perfect lover. Um, and then there's one called Tony and Emerson talk together. Oh my god, that must be really amazing. Um, so yeah, there's a lot to enjoy with these things. The perfect lover. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. So Tony did a lot of stuff, and these meetings has people. But what's really funny is seeing him get crazy. That was the one thing I loved about the video that I saw, is he gets frustrated. So I just really like that. It's really good fun. Um, did I ever delve into Vishisht yoga? I did. I have read Yog Vashisht, and I love it. Like the first chapter is crazy. Like if anybody knew that Ram was going through a crisis, if only people knew, it'd be amazing. So that was really good seeing, like reading that, and then which is kind of similar. You see the similarities with that, and then obviously Arjun as well. But I think Ram was more extreme. Like Ram was extremely suicidal, like on the brink of suicide, which is interesting because they say in the end of the Ramayana, there's one of the endings is that he does commit suicide. So it's quite interesting to see this conversation occur in Yog Vashisht. Um, so it's this is what I mean. Like when Jordan Peterson, when I mentioned, if he really wants to understand the human mind, he needs to be reading stuff like this. But it's probably too much for his brain to handle, to be honest. But yeah, the other thing about Yog Vashisht that I really like, it's so it needs you really need to absorb the message. Like if I ever did YouTube videos on Yog Vashisht, or if I ever did it on um if I ever did it like on the YouTube live, it would have to be a long, and we would probably never get it done in my lifetime. unless I did it every single day. And we because sometimes you just read one line and you have to stay with it. You have to absorb it. You have to really there's some things that are with all scriptures, there's some things where you're like, what the hell is this? Um, but majority of it is just basic non-dual teachings. And sometimes the examples that they use were relevant during that time, which may not be relevant in today's time, you know? So but it's really good. I love that. So Yog Vashisht is one of my favorite texts ever. Um, I do need to read the more abridged version because maybe that's what we would have to do is go through the abridged version, and maybe then we'll get it done. But yeah, I I absolutely love that text. One of my favorite texts ever. It's literally on par for me with Ashtavakra Gita in terms of my like when I read Ashtavakra Gita, I am just reading it to just enjoy being in the South. Like there's no other reason for me to read Ashtavakra Gita other than yes, it was by Swami Venkatesh Vananda ji. Yeah. I have it here on my Kindle. I brought the one on my Kindle. My wife has the paperback copy downstairs. Um I mean, it's that big, that thick. Um, but I saw a few other um, translations recently. In fact, yesterday I was looking just generally on the internet, and I saw there's um, a few translations of Yog Vashisht. I know that Vishuddha Das, who is a really popular content creator on TikTok. He he's got one by Swami. It's Nishti's Guru who's done it. I think Sir Devananda or something like that. On they're from California, um, and even he recommends it. And I might read that translation as well because even if it means I have to buy the physical copy, I don't really like getting physical copy. I prefer to have it all on my Kindle and stuff. Um, but yeah, I may be kind of forced to read it. Oh, should I tell you what I listened to yesterday? Um, so I listened to Sri Ravi Shankar on Duncan Trussell's podcast. Um, it's that was quite an interesting that was an interesting conversation. And it was nice to see it was just nice to listen to um Sri Ravi Shankar, and I find him more palatable than Sadhguru, um, in my opinion. Like, I wish now that Sri Ravi Shankar went on Joe Rogan instead because he seemed more grounded, um, and kind of knew where he wanted to go with the conversation. But I still think Joe Rogan should speak to Swami Sarvapriyananda or have like Rupert Spira, Bernardo Castrop. Like he needs to have those type of people on, um, the real deals in spirituality. So yeah, it's um, yeah, there is the concise Yog Vashisht, and there was even a Yog Vashisht that Dennis Waite did on advaita.org.uk. I have that as well. I gave that to Vic on TikTok. My friend, um, he, I gave him a copy of that, but I really need the one that's by by the Southern California guru. I think his name's Sarva Devananda or something. That's it. I think he does. He's the one that had written. So um the guru in um Vedanta Society of Southern California, and that's where Nishji goes. Nishji is my good friend, Nish the fish. Um, but yeah, it's let me see. Here, Nectar of Supreme Knowledge, Yog Vashisht Sara, and that's by Sarvadevananda. I wish that was I wish that was on. It's called Nectar of Supreme Knowledge. I wish that had um see there might even be a PDF version. But yeah, so yeah, if you haven't listened to the book by so the if you haven't listened to the talk between Sri Sri Ravi Shankar and Duncan Trussell, it's one worth just reading. Um, okay, but I think the concise. I need to get the concise version. Maybe we can. I'd just love to read it again. If I had to go through the whole thing again, it's a lot. Um, Yog Vashisht is a very big book. Um, yeah, but yeah. So for me, it's always like important to look at different translations. Um, and yeah, it'd be really cool. Um, s- uh, so yeah, there's a lot to. If you ever get a chance um, to read Yog Vashisht, I would definitely do so. It's an incredible text. Um, But yeah, sorry, I sometimes get lost in the search for stuff like that. But yeah, um, recommended translation. So the one by Swami Venkatesananda, that's pretty good. I really like that. Um, there is quite a few now. I mean, let me see. There's actually a pretty good one. It's online though. It's actually on yogvishish.org. Um, James Swartz. Yeah, I have actually. I've read his book not long ago. James's book on something about enlightenment. It was a good book. He has a good understanding of non-duality. I like. Um, I've heard stuff about him though, about certain. Um, I don't know if there are rumors about him having affairs and stuff, but yeah, but I've heard of him and I liked his book. I thought that was he had a good, clear, and concise way of talking about non-duality. Um, and yeah, I think he's a follower of what's the name? Swami Dayananda ji. Um, what I really dislike is when someone has like the whole teaching, they have the PDF online on the book, but I'm like, why not just put the whole thing, um why not just have everything? um yeah, I don't know why they just don't have the rest of the, like, it's a PDF. I don't know why they just don't let you download it, which is really annoying. Because if they just allowed you to download it, it would be a lot easier. But yeah, wasted opportunity for them. And then it's interesting because they have at the bottom, um, they said all rights reserved in Brahman. Well, if that's the case, then give your thing for free. Like, why is it here? Like, you should have a book. Just let people then download it and read it in peace. Ridiculous. Or maybe they have it and I just can't see it. um, but yeah, I think the concise one's probably good. Let me have a look. Um, Let me try and find that concise one. But yeah, it's really good if you can get the concise one. But yeah, James Schwartz is pretty cool. Cool guy. Um, um, okay. I thought I thought I saw the concise version somewhere. Oh, here we are. Yeah, it's on. So it's little things like this. And so with Yog Vashisht, the one thing I really like about that is it is the best book to explain what the Jeev is. And the fact that it explains the Jeev so well, amazing. Like, I cannot express how great it is in terms of explaining the Jeev. One of the best explanations I've ever heard. Like, I thought the Jeev was something totally different until I read Yog Vashisht, and it's really, really, really good. Really worth checking. But they haven't got it on Kindle though. I wish they had it on Kindle. I'm gonna tell them to put it on Kindle. Yeah, but I can wait for that. Um, because yeah, there is a lot of repetition in the text, which is kind of needed when you have deep concepts. You kind of need to have the um, you do need to have the repetition. It's kind of necessary because you kind of need to have some of the concepts repeated so you can fully grasp them. Um, so, oh, inner engineering, a yogi's guide to why am I seeing that? Don't want to see it. Sorry, Sadhguru. Sorry, mate. But yeah, it's. I know that Ramana Maharishi talked about it too, about Yog Vashisht. Um, so it's definitely worth for everyone to look at and everyone to read. Um, but yeah, definitely one of the best books to read if you really are interested in understanding the deeper aspects of non-duality and having a great way of getting someone to explain it to you in a really wonderful way. That that is the one. That is the one. Um, so yeah. Um, but yeah. Um, So, yeah, any other questions you may have, if you would like to ask? If not, I'm probably going to end this live very soon. Um, but if you would like to ask a question, you can do so. Um, so it's interesting. So they call the Yog Vashisht Maharamayan too. So that tells you the oh, I'm on that. It tells you the power of that text. Have you ever had it where you put a search in and um, they put on um, they put it on Bing, and I'm so used to seeing Google. It's so annoying when that appears. Um, Yeah, it's Ram's origin story. Yep, that's what it basically is. Hey Vic, yeah, I'm streaming on YouTube even now. I was just talking about you because we were talking about York Vashisht, and um, I was saying how I sent you a copy of that. So yeah, um, it's nice to see you. Um, what's your opinion on the statement "You are the universe"? My statement on that is wrong. You're not the universe. Um, or let's answer it this way. Let's answer it this way, Ben. Let's let's think. Let's first understand what is this you. When we say you, we're talking about that pure consciousness, the thing that you really are. So, if the universe is a reflection of that, then I agree with you that you are the universe. But other than that, I, you know, if we say we are the universe, then that still means that we are part of matter, and that means we do not know what we are. The universe is our shared being. I get that. I can understand that, but it's a bit more complex. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, you have to shift over to YouTube, man. Yeah, I do put it on. What's the thing called Discord when I'm gonna be live. So um, I tend to put it on there. Um, yeah, Yorkshire is absolutely gold. I can't finish it because I have to keep going back. Yeah, I know, and that's what I was saying. Like I have to go on the concise version to have a look at the whole thing. Yeah, it's phenomenal. And this is what I was saying. Like if I ever did start talking about York Vashisht, I would probably have to do it every day and for a good 2 3 hours. Like that would be to cover the depth that's in there, or even just to meditate on some of the lines is something that you need to do. Yam Socks, Swami Vada, Alan Watts all say you are the universe. Uh, I think so. Liam doesn't completely say you are the universe. He has said it. I know he has, but um, but you've got to understand that the universe is just a reflection. Um, you are the universe as the shared being, but just remember that the shared being it's just that oneness. That's what it is. So if they're talking about you are the universe in the sense of oneness, they are correct. They are right. But if they're saying that you are the universe as in some like law of attraction uh trite, then they're wrong. And as far as I know, Sammy Vada doesn't say in a law of attraction way, neither does Liam, and even Alan Watts doesn't. When they say you are the universe, they are thinking about pure consciousness and the shared being of pure consciousness, the oneness. So, even Ramana talks about this, where, you know, if you do not see the oneness in everything, then then it's not non-duality, then it's duality. If I think consciousness and universe is two different things, then there's duality, right? But if I see that there's consciousness, and consciousness is the reflection of consciousness is this universe, and therefore this universe is the shared being of this consciousness, I see the oneness. I hope that's clear. So um I hope I've made that concept a bit more clear. Let me know. Uh, yeah, the universe is me, but I'm not the universe. I try to see it in that perspective when I hear them and use that language. Yeah, sometimes it's hard. And also, for example, when someone's on TikTok live or YouTube live, you sometimes have to gauge where the rest of the audience is. So sometimes you can't give the direct truth or talk directly. You have to make a concession here and there to kind of allow the audience to grow with you while you're talking, so it's a tough job as a content creator, because you want to allow people to hear the truth. But I always do this thing where I would talk about the truth, and then I'll go down and just um try to um try to lift everyone up. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but most of the time it does. But yeah, as far as I know, there is only consciousness. You know, for example, once someone said to Swami Sarabhinanda gives this wonderful example of when a sister came to Swami Vivekananda and said that Swamiji, what you said has really changed my life. And Swamiji asked, "Well, what is it?" And the lady said, "Oh, you know that God is everything." And he said, "I never said such crazy philosophy that God is everything. I said that only God is, and or everything is God." She said something like that. And Swamiji said, "No, I just said there is only God. There is only consciousness. There is only awareness." So again, if we see the multiplicity of everything, if we see the many, we know that the many has come from the one. The multiplicity is from that oneness. So we are to go towards that oneness and remain firm in that oneness, remain connected to that oneness, remain attuned with this oneness. That's the whole purpose. Um, but yeah, I mean that's the whole reason for life. But yeah, is to understand this, and not just understand it, but live it. Live in a state of oneness. Trust me. Try it out. It's amazing. Like you can actually practice living in oneness. You know, I see a couple of trees across the road there. It's very beautiful. I feel one with the trees. There's no difference between me and the trees. We're made of the same matter. The only thing is, thankfully, I've got a little bit of a brain that's able to discern stuff. But other than that, we're the same. And there's and that tree is probably just as intelligent as I am. The only thing is I'm able to think thoughts, be aware of thoughts. I can't say if the tree can think thoughts. I don't know. You know, we'll have to speak to some mystic, real mystic who can chat to trees. There's loads of them. Oh, that's the other thing. So on TikTok, what I've been seeing a lot more of recently is these new age people like buy these crystals, astrology, crazy shit, crazy shit. No, I'm not saying it's just a bit annoying. No, I want to see more of my friends that are on TikTok, and I keep seeing stuff like, "What's your birth chart saying?" Well, I don't know. I don't have a birth chart. Well, I don't know. I mean, was I even born? Please answer mine. What's your question? I didn't see your question, Vikramji. It didn't come up. Yeah, I didn't see your question, Vikramji, on YouTube. Um, but yeah, I mean the beauty that you see in nature, you should see the oneness in it. It's really amazing, and we all can do this. It's um, it's not um, it's not difficult. But you're welcome, Ben. Thank you. Thank you for your question. I mean, it's a very important question as well to ask, and to get clarification. We should do that. Hmm. So yeah, I still haven't seen your question, Vikramji. If you've um if you have uh put it up, I've not seen it. Um so yeah. What else? By the way, if you join me on TikTok, you can view the whole live on YouTube afterwards. That's the benefit of having it on YouTube. One, the better quality in terms of video, and I then don't have to do anything. It uploads by itself, and but yeah, definitely, if you want to, you can check that. Um, I'm just waiting for your question now, Vikramji. Um, you said please answer yours, but I don't see any question. Um, it's hard to answer a question that I cannot see. What do I do for a living? That's a good question too. I work in HR. I work in the global benefits department, so I live a relatively normal life. Um, so yeah, but you say what I do for a living. I would say I would do that. What the job I do in the day is what I do for paying the bills. But what I do for a living is content creating, doing this podcast, having conversations about spirituality, doing these live streams. This is what I do for a living. This is what makes me feel the most alive and what I really enjoy, you know? So I would say that's what I do for a living. So I'm going to change the question a little or the answer. What I do for a living is this type of thing. What I do for paying the bills is I work in HR for a corporate. Um, so yeah, I live a relatively normal life. I'm married. I'm yeah, I'm married. I'm I live a relatively solitude life, despite being married. Um, because well, it's nice. In the morning, I'm with my wife, and then um, in the afternoon, evening, she's at work. Only on Monday to Fridays, thankfully. On Saturday and Sunday, so morning is spent in meditation. I do the meditation session. Then, then so we spend time in the evening. We go out on the date night, and then Sunday I spend with my family here. Um, so yeah, it's really nice. Um, Your clear, focused, and patient approach makes you a more skillful teacher than others who ramble. Oh, thank you, Ben. I mean, I'm trying to. Um, I'm sure I do ramble too. um, but yeah, it's. I think it's important to be yourself, and if you don't know the answer to something, like just say you don't know, you know, and just be comfortable in not knowing. And then being patient, I think, is just a natural byproduct of just meditation. If you really meditate and you really, and when I say meditate, not just you sit down to meditate for 30 minutes and then you're out of it. No, continuing on the meditation throughout the day, allowing it to immerse itself into your life is naturally will bring things like patience and um, kindness, being caring and loving and compassionate, clarity. Those all things come when you stop living the dual life of, well, I've got to be spiritual and I've got to be, and I've got to live a material life. I don't have the duality. I don't have the division there. Um, Even in my day job where I get where what pays the bills, even with that, I am a spiritual person first than an employee. Um, I will always be a spiritual person first because um, otherwise it just brings schizophrenia. You know, you're trying to be one thing, but you're another. What's the point? That doesn't help anybody. Um, but yeah, in terms of a teacher, well, I learn from all of you too. And um, so yeah, I don't think sometimes I'm a student and I feel like a student when I'm talking to you guys and you give me an insight or you give me a view and I learn in that time. So yeah, I think it's very important to be balanced, you know. Um so Vikramji, this is a question on YouTube. Did you find a wife who is spiritual or did I make her slowly as Shadguru does? My wife is spiritual anyway. I we when we got when we were courting, we made I mentioned to her that there's one thing I will never ever um compromise um or I would that will ever this is like a non-negotiable um is I'll never stop being spiritual. And if there isn't ever a time, it was something else that I said, but I'm adapting my answer because it's changed. Because when I said it, I was under a different time, different circumstances. I was in a different place in life. Um, my guru was still alive at the time, which made a hell of a lot of a difference for me. Um, so so we kind of respect that I'll always be interested in spiritual matters. I will always be um I will always and because she allows me to explore that, we actually get along and there's just no conflict. Um I'm not saying there's not times when we want to pull at each other's hairs out. I'm sure there is. Um but we still get along. We understand each other really well. And I think and we made that a conscious choice to know each other really well um, before anything that we will decide to do when it comes to like having kids or anything like that, or even moving further in a career or getting a bigger house or anything like that. It's always important to understand each other first. So I'm giving a really long answer, I know, but there's a reason why I'm giving a bit of a long answer. Um, so did I find my wife? I think life gave me my wife, and it was is I know I think it's a real big blessing for me, um, and I've learned so much from being married. Um, I don't impose my spiritual views on my wife. That's the number one thing too. I let her be. She's on her own journey. When she wants an answer, she She asks me questions. She she's also the great mirror that shows me when I'm egoic and shows me where my ego is. So she's really cool like that. Um, in terms of, she sometimes attends my meditation classes. Like, so we have a good understanding with each other. Um, so yeah, I don't look to make her spiritual, or I think she's just naturally spiritual. I don't need she says that she learns a lot from me, but I think it's the opposite for me. I think I learn a lot from her. Have I read the Bhagavad Gita of Paramahansa Yogananda? No, I haven't. Um, Quite a few people have recommended it to me. He claims he is written by synchronization his consciousness with Ved Vyas. Is it true? Only Yogananda ji will know this. I don't know if if he did. Um, I could even turn around and say, well, I connected to Sri Krishna when I said something. And in a way, what he's saying is not wrong, and what I was saying is not wrong, because everything is in consciousness, everything is in awareness, and therefore accessing Krishna or accessing Ved Vyas is not so difficult. But I kind of feel that this goes into more the mystical realm, and kind of can it bring a subtle ego? Possibly. I don't know if Yogananda ji had ego, so I can't really say. I never met him. I don't know him. I only know him by his books. Um, but for me, there was a stark difference between him and Ramana Maharishi. And to be honest, I think right now, yes, everyone talks about Paramahansa Yogananda because he has, spiritual centers, and he he has been known, people like Steve Jobs praised him. But in my opinion, Ramana Maharishi will be the one that people will remember because he never claimed anything and remained pure. And I think if there is anyone to be like, it should be like Ramana Maharishi because he kept it simple. And it's best to keep it simple. If you start saying things like, "Oh well, I synchronized with Krishna, or I synchronized with Ved Vyas, or I synchronized with Vishishti," you you could be making shit up, and people will believe you. And or what will happen is you may have the experience of synchronization, but the other person doesn't, and therefore they feel less about themselves. So that isn't good either. Uh, it- I'm very reluctant to accept when people say stuff like that, but I have no reason to doubt him either. You know, I don't really care. you know, if he did, well done. Um, Mata the 108. I love the 108 at the end. So it's powerful, man. Um, Here's something that's confusing me. I thought that at some point I would be consumed by a permanent divine mood. Yeah, I find that even these moods don't last. Appreciate any insights you can offer. My friend, the thing is, nobody ever remains in a divine mood, like a permanent divine mood. Not even Krishna, none of the avatars. You saw even with Ram, he never was in that permanent divine mood. The thing is, what is a permanent divine mood? It's just a non-dual state. Now think about it. It doesn't have to be a blissful experience all the time. Sometimes you cannot be always in ecstasy and bliss. You have to respond to life. You have to react to life. And that may mean that you may have to utilize the tools like anger or um, ego, even. The thing is, that divine mood that we're talking about is when they say permanent, it doesn't mean that it's constantly there in the forefront, it's there in the background. And therefore, whatever needs to be done at the foreground or at the forefront, you're able to function. Now, imagine if you were in a permanent divine mood, even Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa wasn't even in that divine mood all the time. Sometimes he used to break away from that divine mood just so he could check what was being made in the kitchen. You know what I mean? So nobody can be in that permanent state. And I think it's unrealistic to think so. So the permanent state is not what's at the forefront, but more at the background. And in the background, just remember whether you know it or not, whether you realize it or not, whether you've got to that point or not, it's always there. It's never not there for everybody in existence. There is not one person in existence that does not have this pure formless awareness in the background. Everybody experiences that. Everybody is going through that. But some people, like yourself, have come to the realization that there is this thing in the background, and that is my true nature. Therefore, if it's my true nature, the more I can be in my true nature, the better. But remember, you do live in the world. You're married. You're gonna have to deal with the the beauty and the issues that come up in marriage. You may go to work. You have to deal with the stuff that you have to deal with at work. Maybe you're managing a difficult employee. You have to respond in a certain way. You cannot respond as that formless awareness. In fact, you're still acting as a formless awareness, but the thing is now you're discerning what action will be best for the moment, and you're more likely to do that when you know your true nature, and you're most likely going to do an action that is going to actually be more beneficial for people, for everybody, rather than just a selfish one for yourself or the organization. I hope that is clear. Yeah, but you know, um, yeah, I would say if you were consumed by a permanent divine mood, just check if you're still alive. I think only someone who's dead can be in that permanent divine mood. I think only someone who is, if you're alive, if you're in this form, if you're still blessed with this body and this functioning mind, you will be in the fluctuations of the divine mood, and that's normal. I think for a realized person that's normal. That's It's not a point of conflict for them. It's only a conflict for someone who is seeking that continuous mood of divinity, and we are to be free from such um, ideas and free from such restrictions and limitations, because even things that are apparently going to make us limitless, if they are, if they limit us, how are we meant to move forward? How are we meant to really be absorbed in the wisdom, and be absorbed in our true nature? Vikramji, do you have children, and are you planning in the future? We're, we're planning to have children. We don't have any at the minute, but um, I have a beautiful niece who I see as my own daughter. Um, and she's wonderful. She's just We have a really strong connection. But me and my wife are planning. We would like to have children. Um, so yeah, we all think of posterity in some way or form, but I think it's not so much about posterity for me. Um, I'm pretty um, I'm pretty clear about how I want my like I'm like I think it's in Indian society we think of you know um we think about, oh yeah, we will think about our children's future, and there's all this, but for me I'm like, nah, I've got to take care of my own future. um my children should look after their own future. Yeah, I'm there, but you know um but yeah, if if existence wills that I have a child, we'll see then. Um, but yeah, it's all up to existence. All I know is that one is doing the karma, Yeah, one should leave the results to to existence. So yeah, but yeah, yeah. Any other questions? Man, this has been nice. I didn't, it's really funny that when you think that you're gonna finish, then you get a flurry of wonderful questions, and you have to answer those questions, right? You have to answer them, um, and they may trigger another thought that's necessary, that's felt during the time. Um, if not, um, if we're all good, then we can end it here. But yes, so maybe on Saturday, because I should have some time, um, we can we can watch. So if you're on TikTok, join my YouTube page, subscribe to my YouTube page, because on Saturday we're going to watch Swami Sarvapriyananda. We're going to connect to deep spiritual wisdom. We're going to have a satsang with Swami Sarvapriyananda in terms of watching his video, and reacting and responding to it. There's a lot to enjoy from his wisdom. Um, do share. What I will do is I will try and get the thumbnail made. So tomorrow you should see it up. So at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we will take a look at this video by Swami Sarvapriyananda. I think it's really good. Gives a really simple way of explaining Advaita Vedanta or Vedanta in general, and just spirituality, which is what I love about Swamiji. So we'll do that, and yeah, so I'll make the thumbnail. I'll share it in the Discord server. So if you are watching this on YouTube, the Discord server invite is in the video description below. If you're on TikTok, it's on my profile on the Linktree account. You can find it there. Um, so yeah, so we will be doing that. And yeah, so we'll do that. We'll see how long it takes. I mean, I will do the video. Will react to it, and I think it's an hour video. So let's see how much we can get through. Um, More so, I don't know if I'm going to be saying anything in it, because whenever Swamiji talks, I go silent. It's really powerful. But anyway, um, take care, everybody. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for being part of my community. If you want to continue to support the channel, join me on Patreon. Support the channel. Support the content on Patreon. You can pay. You can have a look which tier you want to use. But yeah, if you've appreciated the wisdom, it's nice to get some. It helps with the running cost of doing all this. So thank you, and just remember, on Sunday my new podcast episode will be out, which is thoughts on the Bhagavad Gita, and it's chapter 4, verse 30 to 33. That will be out on Sunday. And the conversations with the bearded mystic, I plan to have my conversation with Samivada or Akil out next week. So if you can have, so there's two ways you can get that episode, um or get my guided meditations. One is by joining on Patreon, um or by um subscribing on Apple Podcasts is another way you can get that extra content. But if I were you, I would join Patreon. It's a bit more better. And also, if you choose a higher tier, you can get free merch. I mean, that's awesome. Um, so yeah. But anyway, um, But what I am gonna do after listen, you learn from everyone. There was a friend, I forgot his name, that was on here a minute ago. Who was telling me to join his thing and was gonna pay for me to go to Bucharest. For some reason, I kept thinking of the Tinder swindler. I don't know why I was thinking that, but that's really bad. Should Marcus Teak. Oh no, Marcus can't be like that. Marcus is awesome. Um, but um, but what I will be doing is I will yeah, you can join the you know what was I talking about Marcus for? There's a reason why I talked about him. Now I totally forgot. I got sidetracked. Um, but yeah, it's just I totally forgot too. But yeah, but yeah, I really appreciate the support on Patreon because it's a small community. But yeah, if you do pay more, um, it one you get extra benefits. My plan is that people on Patreon, what we'll have eventually is a good community where there be separate Zoom sessions just for those people, and it's a closer, intimate Q&A thing. Um, so that, but yeah, I totally forgot why I said Marcus. For some reason, there was a reason why I said Marcus. When I look back on this, I will realize why I said it, and I'll regret not saying what I did. Um, Let me see if I remember. But yeah, other than that, yeah, just my Discord server is a way we connect. I always put when I'm going to be online. Follow me on Twitter or tweet now and then. I need to post more videos on YouTube. Sorry, not YouTube, on TikTok. I really need to get. Thing is, my software is so easy to create these clips. I'm lazy. My Thomas is so it's overpowering me when it comes to sharing stuff uh, on um, on TikTok. I really shouldn't think like that, but yeah, but yeah, I can't remember why I mentioned Marcus, but now totally I should abandon the thought. But yeah, so yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting these lives. Thank you for listening to my podcast. Thank you for everything. Um, I cannot tell you how much these sessions um, feel like a satsang for me, where I can talk about Brahman, where I can talk about pure awareness. It's really a blessing. So thank you. So I shall see you on Saturday. Take care, everybody. See you soon. We, and, stay safe out there because I know there's another crazy Omicron wave going on. So in the States, so if you're in the States, stay safe, and take your precautions, follow the public health guidelines, and use your common sense because forget public health guidelines. We're going, even that's ridiculous right now. Use your common sense and, look out for one another. It's all about keeping yourself safe, true, but also look to help other people and keep them safe as well. Okay. So thank you. And yeah, stay safe. Bye.